Mike Tyson's return to the ring against social media sensation Jake Paul is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime dream matchup that could be the most viewed boxing event in modern boxing history, as it is heavily anticipated by both boxing and non-boxing fans alike. Everyone is looking forward to it as it has been set for November 15th. The highly anticipated fight, which was originally slated to take place in July, is now set to take place in November, with the tense face-off scheduled at the AT&T Stadium near Dallas.
The highly anticipated fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has a new date. They'll face off in AT&T Stadium on November 15th.
With Netflix acquiring broadcast rights, this fight will be aired globally. Nakisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, officially explained the initial postponement, stating that their team worked diligently with all parties involved to reschedule the fight for November. This decision allows for adequate preparation time, equal training opportunities, and avoids conflicts with the Dallas Cowboys season, while also ensuring the event remains at AT&T Stadium.
And broadcast live globally on Netflix. Nakisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, made an announcement on Friday morning. He said, "Our team has worked diligently with all parties involved to reschedule this monumental fight to a date that ensures both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fully prepared, with equal training time, as well as allowing us to keep the event at 8."
Iron Mike, aka Mike Tyson, is one of the greatest boxers of all time, holding the undisputed heavyweight champion from 1987 to 1990. And he turns 58 on June 30th. On the other hand, Jake Paul is a social media sensation that has boxed professionally since 2020, is set to face an opponent 30 years older than him at age 27. Iron Mike, who will turn 58 by the time of the fight, clearly isn't worried about the age gap, as he would be resuming training shortly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the one. There you go. Watch this. No way.
In an official statement to the general public, Mike Tyson thanked his medical team and the organizers of the show for finding the best possible way to reschedule the fight. He also expresses confidence in the fight, as he states without mincing words that Jake Paul is getting knocked out, expressing confidence in his commitment to delivering a decisive victory over his opponent Jake Paul whenever the fight happens.
Tyson said, "I am thankful to the medical staff that treated me and to MVP, Netflix, and AT&T Stadium for working diligently to find the best reschedule date for all parties. While we have a new date, the result will be the same no matter when we fight. Jake Paul is getting knocked out." He expressed confidence in his ability to resume training and prepare for the upcoming bout. He also reaffirmed his commitment to delivering a decisive victory over Jake Paul.
The heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson had a brief medical scare on a flight from Miami to Los Angeles on the 26th of May because of an ulcer flare-up. His symptoms were quite severe, and paramedics had to be called on the plane for first aid. A now recovering Tyson has gone back to training for his match in November.
Boxing champion Mike Tyson had a brief medical scare earlier today during a cross-country flight from Miami to Los Angeles. According to TMZ, paramedics had to be called on board the United Airlines flight. The 57-year-old said he was in pain and felt dizzy and nauseous 30 minutes before the plane landed at LAX. A representative for Tyson says he experienced a flare-up from an ulcer but is now recovering. Tyson is in the middle of training for his July boxing match against YouTube star Jake Paul.
Not to be outdone, Tyson's opponent, social media sensation Jake Paul, after expressing his admiration and respect for Tyson, has also asserted his confidence in the outcome of his match with Tyson, as he has boldly declared his intention to secure a knockout victory against Tyson. Paul acknowledges that both parties have heightened their anticipation for their upcoming bout. It is definitely the most anticipated fight, with most of the tickets sold.
Jake Paul has also weighed in with his prediction for the fight. Despite expressing admiration and respect for Tyson, Paul has boldly declared his intention to secure a knockout victory. Paul has also predicted a knockout in the fight. He said, "Both of the boxers have heightened anticipation for their upcoming bout, making it one of the most awaited matches in recent boxing history. This increased excitement is reflected in ticket sales."
With the fight pushed back 4 months, Jake Paul responded to this development by stating that even though the date has been pushed, everything stays the same. The fight between the baddest man on the planet versus the biggest disruptor in boxing 6 generations have a stake in this fight, anticipating who gets the win in this fight at the AT&T Stadium.
With the fight being pushed back like 4 months, Jake Paul responded, "There's a new date, but everything else stays the same. The baddest man on the planet versus the biggest disruptor in boxing. 6 generations have a stake in this fight. Who gets the W?" From AT&T Stadium in Texas,
a poll has been put out to vet who the public thinks will win, and Mike Tyson seems to be the people's favorite as he leads the poll by over 70%, with the tag Mike Tyson by KO being the most favored tag. Jake Paul calls out the double standard as he points out that despite the fact that people call Mike Tyson old, people think he's gonna knock Jake out. Clearly, the skepticism about the age difference has not prevented the vast majority of the public to vote a win by knockout in Tyson's favor.
they're putting out a poll on who will win and how, with Mike Tyson by KO being favored by over 70%. Jake Paul commented, "This is some funny stuff. Haters saying that Mike Tyson is old, but the vast majority of people are saying that he's going to knock me out." Despite skepticism about Mike Tyson's age, over 70% of poll respondents favor his victory by knockout.
On a recent episode of Beyond the Fight, Chael Sonnen, an American promoter and martial arts artist, dissected the unexpected twist concerning the postponement of the fight. The postponement of the fight had received quite the sensational response from the media. Having raised eyebrows in the boxing world, it has become quite necessary to separate facts from fiction. And that is exactly what Sonnen attempts to do.
Mike Tyson, Jake Paul officially rescheduled. Or, at least officially, a date has been announced that it's going to be warned everybody involved to play and handle the Mike Tyson thing correctly, because the visuals were bad. And when you're dealing in a world of optics, it's very relevant. And Tyson versus Paul would likely be on July 20th. It would likely be on had they not put out the fake press release in the first place.
American promoter and former professional boxer Oscar De La Hoya has offered fresh opinions on the evolving landscape of the fight. He states in no uncertain terms his disapproval of the fight. Clearly, Tyson being in his late 50s and Jake Paul's attempts at climbing the ladder through Tyson didn't sit well with Oscar. He categorically tells Jake Paul to fight professional boxers or current A-list boxers in their prime to build his career properly.
De La Hoya, American promoter and former professional boxer, offered his perspective on the evolving landscape of the fight. He said, "I think Mike Tyson being 60 and Jake Paul trying to climb the ladder through Mike Tyson, it's not a good look for him. But if Jake Paul wants to be a real fighter, then take on real fights. Take on contenders. Take on top 10 fighters who are young fighters ranked in our boxing system. That's the way you do it, Jake."
Mike Tyson recently updated his Insta story with the caption, "New date for Jake's wake," with Jake responding by saying, "Is he the definition of all talk? Because it seems like a Nate Diaz type of talk, meaningless." He goes on to ask Tyson to take his time as he has messed up his octa whooping plans. He goes on to call out Tyson's team, while alleging that he is certain Tyson doesn't use his socials.
Mike Tyson recently put on his Instagram story, "New date for Jake's wake," with Jake Paul responding, saying, "Is he the definition of all talk? Cause it seems like it, this Nate Diaz type of talk, meaningless. Take your time, sir. Not that you have much of it. This octa-whooping has patience."
Don King, a popular American promoter known for his colorful language and flamboyant personality, also reacted to the news of the rescheduled fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. There are also some boxers who are clearly interested in digging up this topic to the roots in the lead-up to the highly anticipated fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. For example, the president of the UFC, Dana White, highlighted James's previous fight with someone his own age, which ended in defeat for Paul. His remarks definitely underscores skepticism surrounding Jake Paul's ability to win a fight with the legendary Tyson. He also jokes that if he wins, he'll fight Clint Eastwood next.
Thank you, Don. Bye.
Don King, known for his colorful language and flamboyant personality, reacts to the news of the rescheduled fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. But there are some boxers who are clearly interested in digging up this topic to the roots, in the lead-up to the highly anticipated fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Also weighing in on the match, Michael Bisping, a respected British former mixed martial artist, characterized the event as absurd. He goes on to an absolute shit show that caters to the younger people. He also goes on to imply that this is just a cash grab to those involved, including Netflix, Mike Tyson, and all the managers. He tags it massive business, but also questions the legitimacy of the fight. As in his words, "At the core, this is a fight between a 27-year-old and a 58-year-old. Bisping does not hide his contempt for the unconventional nature of the fight, just as other boxing professionals in the field have done.
Michael Bisping, a respected British former mixed martial artist, offers his perspective on the match. Bisping characterizes the event as absurd-ism about the matchup. He said, "It's just this absurd, this absolute shit show that's selling to the younger people. Now granted, this is on Netflix. It's not going to be on pay-per-view, and a lot of people will watch it. Fair play to Netflix, fair play to Mike Tyson, fair play to all the managers. They're going to get paid. This will be massive, massive business."
John Thompson, American mixed martial artist, expresses his concern over the decision for Jake Paul to fight Mike Tyson, particularly given Tyson's age and the risks involved. He questions the motivation behind the fight and believes it may have something to do with the family unit. He compares it to the Anderson-Silva fight, but felt that was different because Anderson was still active. But since Tyson was retired, the idea was uncomfortable. He, however, acknowledges that Tyson is in good shape. Raising the question of aged athletes coming back to compete, he believes it's disrespectful and honestly just about the money.
Josh Thompson, American mixed martial artist, expresses his concern and confusion over the decision for Tyson to participate in the match, particularly given his age and the potential risks involved. He said, "And this to me is one of those things where I don't know how he was raised, but this, I feel like it has to do with something to do with the family atmosphere. This shouldn't even be happening." I would even go as far as to say, like, even with the Anderson-Silva fight, I was like, okay, maybe I'm okay with it because Anderson was still active, still training.
Which brings us to more observations by Oscar De La Hoya's on the situation. He shares his perspective by asking individuals like Jake Paul to show his commitment to the sport of boxing by taking it seriously if they aspire to achieve success and recognition within the sport. De La Hoya emphasized on the rigorous demands placed on boxing professionals and believes if Jake Paul wants to be a world champion, he needs to put in the work.
Once again, we are here with the prediction of Oscar De La Hoya, an American promoter and former professional boxer. He shared his perspective on the commitment required to succeed in the sport of boxing. By urging individuals like Jake Paul to take boxing seriously if they aspire to achieve success and recognition within the sport, De La Hoya underscores the rigorous demands and expectations placed upon professional boxers.
British professional boxer Francis Inu also reflects on the fight and talks about the inevitable challenge imposed by time on athletes as he expresses his concern for Mike Tyson, a legendary boxer known for his ferocity in the ring, but now definitely facing the effects of aging. His concern definitely stems from the risks associated with aged athletes returning to competitive boxing. Inu, in expressing his surprise and confusion, says he had initially thought it was a Netflix movie when he saw it was being aired there and only found out this was real. He expresses his support for Tyson and believes he can still kick ass. What do you think? Will Mike Tyson win by knockout? Will Jake Paul be able to keep away from Tyson's lethal hits? Or will the fight even happen? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're a fan of Mike Tyson or Jake Paul, make sure to hit that subscribe button for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more on the upcoming fight. Don't forget to like and share as well.